This stuff is all crapola.
Hold on a second.
It's just crapola.
Hang on a second.
Let me tell you something. Wait. No. Let me say this, because I was actually Nicolas Maduro is doing in
back to where you
Venezuela.
came from now?
No, I'm going to defend democracy in the United States, because this is my country. But I can tell you that stifling debate, that
all Americans are just money and capital.
Entrepreneurial nation.
We are definitely in deep trouble.
Doesn't work without money.
Well, of course, that's one factor, but that can't be the major one. You don't worship a golden calf and think you can preserve a decent democratic society. We got to get our brother in here.
Make it sound like Trump's actually subject to blowback. I don't think he really cares.
So then why did he walk it back?
Because he realized what he had said might have sounded different.
So that sounds like blowback.
So he came back and he said,
it sounds like a response.
He changed his own tweet.
It's not happening that way. The judges don't trust the department anymore. They don't trust what the
that's the distrust I'm talking about.
And this is going to take years for us to dig out of. And the same goes for the State Department. The same goes for the EPA. But we are in a huge world of hurt right now.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got Mr. Wonderful Idiot, Kevin O'Leary. I don't know, let me know in the comments. Sounds like he had a racist slip up when speaking to Anna. It was an odd statement at the very least. There's a lot to get into in this segment, so let's get into it and we'll talk about it.
Tonight, there's no sense in hiding it. President Trump essentially sending a DM to Pam Bondi, but the entire world saw it. He urged the Attorney General to prosecute his enemies, literally. On a Truth Social, Trump told Bondi that he sees people saying, "What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done." Then he said that they can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. 3 exclamation points on that one. It's the very thing that Trump and his fellow Republicans have railed against for years.
The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
The weaponization of government.
We got to stop the weaponization.
Stop the weaponization of government.
Partisan weaponization of the Justice Department will end.
Stop the weaponization of government.
The weaponization of government.
I want to end the weaponization of government.
This Republican majority is going to continue to go and look into the weaponization of government.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
Joining us in the 5th seat is Nick Ackerman, former Assistant Special Watergate Prosecutor. Nick, never again until today.
Until now.
I guess.
That's right.
But I also wonder, with this explicit message being sent out for the whole world to see, does that complicate things if they do, in fact, try to prosecute these people? Because, I mean, Trump has basically said he wants them to be prosecuted because he wants retribution.
Well, he's got a lot of problems there. First of all, they have to have evidence. You can't just indict somebody and hope that you can somehow convict them. You have to have evidence. Look at the Lisa Cook situation, for example. I mean, they just took 2 applications where some bureaucrat probably checked off some items, making it look like she was claiming that this was her primary residence. They never bothered to go behind those documents. They never bothered to look at all of the applications that were submitted along with that situation. And it shows, I mean, it was one of the news services that pulled that out, that shows that she was totally candid in what she said. I prosecuted these kinds of cases before. You have to have real evidence. You can't make this up. You can't do it for political reasons. A jury is not going to convict beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's why you've had prosecutors resigning. The fellow in Eastern District resigned because he was being asked to do something on which there was no evidence.
Yeah, but don't you think that John Bolton, whose house was raided the other day by the FBI, supposedly over an investigation related to classified material or something, is very happy about this tweet? And if he in fact gets indicted and taken to trial, we're going to see this tweet as part of his defense?
Well, of course we're going to see that, because the kind of publicity. I mean, look what Pam Bondi did with Garcia, Abrego Garcia. They came up with this case that was based on a bunch of illegal aliens who were going to be sent off to El Salvador. And in order to keep from going to El Salvador, they made up these stories about Abrego Garcia. their credibility is like about zero. The district court found that they had zero credibility. And this is the kind of evidence that once you get to a trial, it's, first of all, you got a pretrial argument, and then you're going to win in front of a jury, and Trump is going to look terrible.
So, Phil, how does Trump...
And guys, I've mentioned this before. This is why, for the most part, and let me know in the comments if you guys feel similar to this, that I'm not too worried about the Republicans and Trump. And you got to constantly push back. No doubt about that. But these people they're just buffoons. They show their cards to the world. It's so easy to see what's coming and before it happens. They don't ever get along. They're always having interpersonal issues because Trump is a psychotic crybaby that's just always whining about something, just yelling out things that are illegal. And like, it's just hard to please someone like that. For sure, all those people in the cabinet, all these people around him hate that mother effer, 100%. I just have a level of confidence that these people aren't intelligent enough to even be authoritarian. They could try, they're just truly dumb, right? I'm truly much more worried about someone who has the capabilities, probably like a J.D. Vance. But when Trump is in charge, he's an effing joke. He's dumb. He falls on these self-made traps. It's like that cartoon, you know, with the rake. He steps on the rake and it hits him in the face. Like, these people are fools.
Justify claiming that he's not going to weaponize the DOJ, and then he literally explicitly asks for the DOJ to be weaponized, and then on top of that actually fires somebody who he had just hired because that person said there weren't the facts to support this case. How does he justify that?
There's several layers here. I mean, the first thing you got to look at is the question of who he's got in place is a big deal. Right now, the Democrats have stalled the confirmations of almost every U.S. attorney nomination in the entire United States.
Not this one.
There's only 93 available.
This guy was confirmed.
And that guy was confirmed, but he was
and
one
then
of
fired.
the few, and one of the very few. And he chose to step down. But the reality is, what you've got right now is a situation where the DOJ is hampered. And the whole call in that text, that tweet, which was then recanted within an hour, and y'all are not even talking about the one where he came out and said, I do like Pam Bondi, she's doing a great job.
Yeah, but I guess
the reality is he's saying, we need to act.
Well, hold on a second. But hold on. Maybe the DOJ shorts after, it doesn't really matter because the one guy who was responsible for all three of these cases looked at the facts and said, we don't have enough evidence here. And then Trump, you know, maybe after there was a huge amount of blowback from this incredibly political tweet, says, oh, I have confidence in Pam Bondi, but then appointed somebody who he had also said he believes is actually going to do what he wants her to do. I don't know that that exonerates him.
You make it sound like Trump's actually subject to blowback. I don't think he really cares.
So then why did he walk
blowback.
It back?
Because he realized what he had said might have sounded different.
So that sounds like blowback.
And so he came back and he said,
it sounds like a response
he changed his own tweet, so I don't know why that would be blowback. I mean, if you come back in and you change your own tweet,
I mean,
what is that blowback?
It sounds like he's responding to people saying, this is crazy. And he backtracked.
No, but I think part
he
of
well, I guess the thing is, here's the thing.
He expressed confidence in his own person.
He only backtracked in the sense of he writes in a message that he's fine with Pam Bondi, which is really not the issue here. The issue here is whether he wants the U.S. attorney to prosecute people based on his desire versus what the law says. That's what the issue is, not Pam Bondi. I don't frankly care how he feels about Pam Bondi. But that's not the issue here.
But it was the issue.
Can I just say a quick word? Because I think...
I mean, this is what I mean. Just simple logic. Republicans are effing slow. They're just incapable. It's like the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Now they're saying he'll be back on tonight, which is like, yeah, no shit. When we were talking about that, what was last week, a few days ago? Like, I wasn't too worried about it because this kind of thing just doesn't work. Disney saw those cancellations piling up, and they were like, F Charlie Kirk and Trump. We need that money. The FCC came out and showed their cards, like, again, idiots. People that Trump surrounds himself with, just fools. This is not to say, again, that we don't push back as hard as possible and point out the hypocrisy, the constant bigotry coming out of this party, right? It's more to convince the independents more than anyone. You guys all know this stuff already. And I just think they're stupid. They're just not capable of any significant change. Because, again, remember who's in charge. I mean, it's Trump. Really think about it. Is there any person more foolish and incapable than him? Even immigration. This was supposed to be a slam dunk for them. and he's underwater in approvals for that because he's so inhumane on their approach. Because he assigns Stephen Miller fascist powder to the operation. Like, these people are dumb. I mean, they botch everything. Look at the tariffs, trade deal, the tariffs. The Supreme Court smashed it down. I said that it's illegal. Like, they just can't do anything that they've envisioned. Or better yet, let's use their term. It seems like they're just all DEI hires. Should have went based on merit, intelligence. Tisk tisk.
For me, no legal order can survive with massive revenge and retribution. Once your culture breaks down with distrust and it's overwhelmed by revenge and retribution, all the litigious activity in the world is not going to reconstitute the kind of civic virtue that's required for citizens to relate to each other as citizens.
I love what you're saying, but let me
human
point something
beings.
out, and this is good news for all of us. What you're describing is the acts of a banana republic, okay? That's what they do in places like Venezuela and absolute countries where you can't attract capital anymore. America, this week, attracted more capital from around the world than it ever has. And I take a lot of solace in that, because if they really thought we were a banana republic and this stuff had any traction, this stuff is all crapola.
No. He's lying. He's lying about that. I looked this up. And I work in the field. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. We did not get the most investments in a week. And again, these are two separate things. China is authoritarian, and they get a bunch of investments. Like, what are these idiots talking about?
Hold on a second.
Crap.
Let me tell you something. Wait. No. Let me say this, because I was actually...
Hold on, guys. All right. One at a time.
I was born and
Wake up.
I spent my childhood in one of those, as you call them, banana republics, the country of Nicaragua.
And look where you are now.
Okay, but let me say
Why
this,
did you
Kevin.
leave?
Because I fled a dictatorship. And the things that Donald Trump is doing in this, the things that Donald Trump is doing in this country are awfully reminiscent to the things that Nicolas Maduro is doing in Venezuela.
Where you came from now?
No, I'm going to defend democracy in the United States, because this is my country. But I can tell you that stifling debate, that going after the media, that going after your opponents, that weaponizing government, that enriching your own family, those are all things that are done by dictators.
Hold on a second.
Suits against Google and Visa. Where were you on the?
But the problem is it cuts across.
No, antitrust is part of the law. That's actually a literal mechanism in the law.
But I want to respond to my dear brother here, because...
Thank you.
Sorry, Brother Cornell. I'm going to use your words. Sorry for pausing again. I won't pause again to the end of the video. Easy there, Baldy. Easy. Your racist Tourette's, they're coming out. Because, I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments if I'm being paranoid. But he was essentially saying, in a roundabout way, if it's so bad here, what are you doing here? Why wouldn't you go back to your country? Keep in mind that she said that she left her country because of the authoritarianism. Why the F would she go back there? You fool. She's trying to explain to you the comparisons of what she seen when she was younger there and what she's seen that's happening now. Like, this is another, when he said to her, what are you going to go back? That's like another, it's like Trump did this before. It's another go-to move by racists. Well, if you don't like it here, why don't you go back to your country? It's a way to deflect from the argument because they don't have one. Trump did the same thing when he told, who did he tell? AOC, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib. I think that was the four. He said to go back to their country when they were complaining about, I forgot what they were talking about. Like, this is incredible. And again, I would ask, just a thought experiment. Do you think if Anna was Russian, or I don't know, from France, that Kevin O'Leary would have said that? Or Trump? Do you think if the four women, instead of Ilhan Omar or whatever, AOC, all these people, they were from France, Ukraine, I don't know, Ireland, do you think Trump would say that? Go back to your country? These people are effing disgusting. This has nothing to do with race, this whole conversation. I highly doubt if they were four white women that Trump would have said that. And I highly doubt if Anna was from Ireland that this piece of garbage, Mr. Wonderful, would have said that. I highly doubt it. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Let me know in the comments. But I've seen this little crap so many times in so many different variations that I'm almost certain about that's what he was doing.
You primarily have the criteria of markets and money and ways in which capital is moving.
The essence of America, my friend.
There have been fascist societies that have as high capital. If all America is just money and capital,
entrepreneurial nation
we are definitely in deep trouble.
Doesn't work without money.
Well, of course, that's one factor, but that
We
can't
need
be the major one. You don't worship a golden calf until you can preserve a decent democratic society. But we got to get our brother in here.
Look, I mean, this whole business about money.
She didn't come just for money.
Guys, one at a time, please.
seeking freedom.
Everybody, hold on a second. One at a time. Go ahead.
What Trump has done is he has deeply corrupted the Department of Justice. It no longer depends on the evidence. He's brought in people, he's required cases to be brought that have absolutely nothing behind them. He files lawsuits that have nothing behind them. He sued the New York Times last week. The complaint was so bad that the judge threw it out before the New York Times lawyers even had a chance to move for it. It works to an extent, but the problem with the legal system is it's slow. And he can make that Department of Justice move quickly. For example, what he did with Abrego Garcia, he put in a trumped-up case because he didn't like the fact that the guy came back. And he essentially got evidence in there to...
Kevin, I mean, Kevin, I have a couple of quibbles with you, but one, let me just read for you. This is a story on CNN.com just today. CEOs are growing alarmed, even if they are publicly staying quiet to avoid the wrath of the White House. Business leaders are quite alarmed in private about the state of democracy in the United States, according to Jeff Sonnenfeld at Yale. But secondly, I mean, look, it's pretty easy to get on Trump's good side. You say you're going to bring a bunch of cash into the United States. You flatter him. I mean, I think business leaders domestically and internationally see the game. They're like, okay, we'll play the game, but that's not to say that the game is the way that this democracy ought to operate.
You know,
I don't know that Americans want a democracy that is pay to play. Essentially,
okay, wait a second.
Is what I'm saying.
Great CEOs, of which there are many in America, evidenced by the fact that 52 cents of every dollar on earth comes here to invest in those same companies, S&P 500, plus the millions of companies that are private, 5 to 500 employees. We are the essence of the largest economy on earth. That's what we have. What they really care about is their customers, their employees, and their investors. They know that the President of the United States, whoever it is, and the current Congress, and the senators, they're rotating. They rotate through every 4 to 8 years. What they care about is making sure their businesses, and this is why America has worked for 200 years, they keep their eye on the prize. Customers, employees, shareholders. It's the only economy that has survived every attack, including every administration. I don't care whether it's red or blue.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I agree with you that that's like the basic premise, right? But I also think that it's also very clear that these businesses are taking Trump as he operates, whether they like it or not. Whether they think it's democratic or not, and they're saying, okay, this is how he operates. He needs us to donate to this pet project or that pet project. He needs us to flatter him in this way or that way, and we're going to do it because that's good for our shareholders in the near term.
Reagan,
but I also
Clinton,
think that it could very well be.
They all did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, but it could very well be that those same companies are concerned about long term what this means for the United States.
What's long term in politics?
Well, long term is a legal environment and a regulatory environment that is subject to the whims of one person rather than rules and regulations that everybody plays by.
Well, let me just say this.
That's the issue.
The Department of Justice is going to take years for them to get out of this. I mean, there are people that have left that have been there, people that were built up expertise over 20, 30 years that have been chased out of there, that have quit. They quit over the Eric Adams situation. They quit over what happened with the corruption.
Jeffrey Epstein, the
Comey
firing of Comey.
Yeah, that's just the whole ethos around the Department of Justice. Where I came from, I had been there for over 10 years. It was a whole different story. You go in, it's not political. You just take the evidence where it leads you without fear or favor. You prosecute your cases. It's not happening that way. The judges don't trust the department anymore. They don't trust what the
See, that's the
lawyers
distrust
say.
I'm talking about.
And
That's
this is going to take years for
Cuts
us to dig out
very
of.
deep.
And the same goes for the State Department. The
Very,
same
very
goes
deep.
for the EPA.
But
We are in a huge world of hurt right now.
All right, Nick Ackerman, thank you very much.
Guys, I'm going to tell you my biggest worry about Trump. It's always been, right, obviously the Republican Party, whether Trump is there or not, they're always going to be bigots. These people are use that as a marketing tool. That's something that I think we're always going to be worried about. But when it comes to Trump specifically, it's the economy. This guy's an idiot. And the way he talks to our allies, this is the thing that I'm most worried about, because that stuff has real long-lasting effects. That Canada is working around us. They don't want to buy from us, whether it's beneficial from them or not. They do not like that Trump talked about invading them. Of course not. Who would? Like, a lot of these countries are just working with each other and never worked with each other. That is the real danger, is that we'll lose our status as world power because of an idiot like Trump. And that this country can no longer be trusted because, yes, as Kevin O'Leary said, we have elections every 4 years. Yes, that means that another Trump is coming along, because Republicans are going to be back in office sooner or later. And Republicans are just idiots. Example after example, they're effing fools. They're not to be trusted with the economy, especially like. And my last message here, rant here, is to Abby, CNN Abby. I don't know if this is your decision to have people on, but stop bringing on Kevin O'Leary. He's just a bald, dumb guy. Like, the truth is, he's probably not dumb. Like all conservatives, they love to play one on TV and act like everyone is being delusional and hysterical. It's all in your head. The economy is doing great. Really? We had 22,000 jobs report. In the first time in, I think, in history, the top 10% account for 50% of the consumer spending in this country. These are horrific numbers. If we're not in a recession now, we're bound to be one very soon. And it's their way of acting like everyone is delusional, everyone is hysterical. They don't have any real arguments as to what we're seeing. Kevin O'Leary here. What did he provide here? He did the same thing with the Epstein files. All he did multiple times on different segments is, who cares? Epstein is dead. Who cares? No matter what you said about the victims deserving justice, possible future victims, holding everyone accountable, he just kept saying, well, Epstein is dead. It's just like, this is an argument that a fifth grader would make, a slow one, a slow fifth grader. He provides nothing to talk about. Even Scott Jennings, as sick as that man is, as vile, at least he says things that you can rip into, right? Talk about it, right? As stupid as it may be, this guy just says there's nothing to see here. Who cares? Look how much money we have, and then just lies about it. He just really pissed me off on this segment. I just don't know what he provides here. Anyways, let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel, really helps spread the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.